Hi everybody, welcome back to Happy Little Diodes. Sorry for the delay in posting new videos. I've been travelling a lot all over the USA with work, but I'm back now and ready to get on with this toast rack. The case does need a few bits and bobs, feet and stuff like that, but we're not interested in that today. We're more interested in the electronic repair, which is an interesting tale with this one. Here's a keyboard membrane which looks very new, but we'll see later there's some problems with it even though it is new, and an interesting tip for you on how to look after your keyboard membranes. We've got some RAM chips missing, an attempted repair. I was aware of this, so I knew what I was getting myself into. All we're going to do is clean it up and continue the work though. Let's get it out of this case and take a closer look. Nothing seems too out of ordinary on the underside of the board. Obviously we've got some RAM chips removed and some soldering that needs tidying up a little bit. Other than that, nothing too concerning. Something's burned here during the soldering process. I'm not quite sure what it is because you'll see it cleans up quite well. It's like there's some black plastic on there or something charred. Anyway, we're gonna give it a brush down with some isopropyl alcohol and remove the solder and just kind of repeat this process until it's looking a bit cleaner. I should add, there is a RAM chip soldered into this socket, so we're going to remove it completely before we continue with the repair. We're doing alright so far. Something is holding that chip in place, but I did manage to get the thing out cleanly eventually. Couldn't seem to get this charred kind of burned material off with the toothbrush, but the scalpel came to the rescue. A little scrape made things look a lot neater and a lot cleaner. Okay, that's looking a lot better. We're going to work from here. That's what it did look like, and here we are now. So I'm going to do the same on the right hand side there. There's another chip which needs some attention. There it is removed. I wasn't going to bore you with all the footage of that. And now I'm going to do a few continuity tests across the RAM before I solder anything in place, because it's always easier to do the patching while you're fitting the sockets. However, there was no patching to do. All the continuity checked out fine, so all I need to do is fit some sockets. Now, can someone help me out here? I always put the notch on the sockets in line with the notch on the chips, but the lettering is upside down, so which way around would you put it? It seems like it doesn't seem to make much difference. I'm still using the new Weller iron here, by the way, and I know some people aren't too keen on Weller and would opt for a more expensive brand, but this is doing great for me. I don't know if it's just because I'm used to using the cheap Amazon one, but this is fantastic and absolutely 5-star review from me for this iron. Lovely, there's our 3 sockets in. Gonna pop some RAM chips in there and get on with the normal testing that we would do when starting up a machine that we haven't seen before. Starting by measuring the resistance of the 5-volt supply to the RAM chips to ground. And that looks good. It's not close to 0, so no internal shorts that we can see so far. And the same test for the 12-volt supply, which goes to the TEA chip. Now while we test it on the bench, we're going to need a voltage regulator plugged in, and rather than lifting it in and out of the case, I'm just going to pop this Traco regulator onto the connector there. Current draw wasn't too high, so let's check our voltages. 5 volts looking good. 12 volts was also present. I didn't record that for some reason. Maybe the camera battery died. However, when I first booted the machine, it looked like this. That's not too good. We've got some flashy blocks, some vertical lines, possibly a RAM problem. Or so I thought. Resetting the machine fixed it. So we have a cold start issue, and this was repeatable. Here we go again in case you don't believe me. First boot looks like this, and then pressing reset brings us to the boot screen. Fast forward, and I've changed the capacitors out for new ones, and you may recall from the previous toast rack video we had an issue with cold starting, and here's a video in its entirety, sped up 10,000% in case you didn't see it before. You can basically fix this by changing a capacitor in most cases, but if that doesn't work, then I recommend watching that video to find out what else could fix the issue if you're seeing the same thing. Now what about this keyboard membrane? Well, it doesn't work. It's brand new, it doesn't work. Now it's not that the key presses aren't getting through. I did run a keyboard test program and there were many key presses going through constantly, so some kind of shorting within the keyboard membrane has gone on. Let's remove it, because what else can we do? You know what, it looks absolutely mint, so it's a real shame that this one doesn't work. But I did learn from the owner that this keyboard membrane in particular was left on a windowsill in the sun for quite some time. That seems to have caused the issue, so be careful where you leave your keyboard membranes lying around. Here we go with a new membrane in, and it's working perfectly. Thankfully it wasn't a problem with our board. Okay, plain sailing from here, right? We are soak testing. I'm going to do some service work on the board. Here we go with cleaning the edge connector, and everything seems stable and we seem to be nearing the end of the process. Or at least we were until this happened. Some kind of failure has occurred, obviously. Don't know what it is. Started investigating, got the scope out and had a probe around, and I actually in the end decided to socket the Z80 and try a different Z80 in there. Turns out this was a mistake, because what I should have done was just run the diagnostic ROM again and see what that produces. I guess I didn't really believe it was going to run because the screen was so garbled, but those diagnostic ROMs are pretty bloody robust and they will get a message out to you either through beeping or by changing the border to indicate which RAM chip is failing, if one of them is indeed failing. Anyway, let's see what the diagnostic ROM is showing us. It's running surprisingly well. We can see the logo almost perfectly, but it very quickly fails on the first RAM tests. They correspond to lower RAM on the 48Ks, but they should still pass on the 128K for this Petroleum ROM, and it told me IC11. Be careful, because that doesn't necessarily map directly to the RAM chip numbers on the 128K if you're running that particular ROM which is trying to test a 48K. Okay, wonderful. We appear to be up and running again, so I'm going to let this test finish and then switch over to Brendan's ROM and let that run a soak test on the 128K test mode for a little while. I also quickly tested the keyboard membrane in the proper diagnostic tool, and everything seems to be working perfectly. And that should just about spell the end of the repair, until this happened again, and I honestly don't know why this is happening. The diagnostic ROM's about to tell us it is another RAM chip that's failed. They seem to be getting knocked out one by one as we test it. I'm interested in your ideas on this. I know there's some experts that watch along and wonder what the hell I'm talking about, so please tell me if you have any ideas why these RAM chips are being knocked out after some testing one at a time. Do you think maybe the machine took a hit in the past that just set them all off to be, you know, close to death? Or is there something on the board which is killing them off one by one? I don't know. I did wonder if it was the 7805 maybe, providing a bad noisy 5 volts, so I did replace that, and it didn't seem to make any difference. Anyway, look, we're testing again, everything's looking good. We've got to 100 soak tests. So you think, yeah, we're pretty stable now, you know, that's basically all night that's been testing. And it went again, another RAM chip went, and you know what, another RAM chip went, and another one, and it just kept happening. So let's play a game of count the socketed RAM chips. Have a look. Yeah, that's basically nearly all of the RAM chips that needed replacing. And it's working now, so I'm going to get on with this jailbar mod, but while that's going on I'm going to rant about it a bit more. I have no idea why that happened, and as you can see, 1,000 soak tests, we're stable now, it's fine, and I tested this to death, so it seems to have stopped killing off RAM chips, whatever was going on, but I'm none the wiser, so any tips, let me know. Have you seen this before? Dave, are you watching? Please help. But the machine is repaired, so everyone's happy, and it's going to get back off to its owner. So there we have it, a repaired machine with a frustrating lack of understanding as to what the problem was with the machine. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, please like, please share, please tell all your mates how brilliant this is, and I'll see you all for the next video.